It's 4:30 in the morning. Broadway is empty. The neon signs are still on, and the streets are all ours. No tourists, no crowds, just the hum of the city waking up and the glow of the historical downtown strip against the dark sky. I'm with my friend Chuck. We're driving, capturing something you rarely see. Downtown Nashville with nobody in it. We weren't on a client job. No one was waiting for edited files or about a deadline. We were just playing. Our adventure to show up before the sun did with no agenda beyond curiosity, a hard truth I often forget. The absolute requirement of play as an artist. This video is about that morning, but more than that, it's about why every serious creative, whether you're a photographer, a painter, or a maker, needs to build time like this into their life. Not as a reward for finishing your real work, but as a requirement for your soul. Chuck and I drove up and down Broadway, capturing the lights with a mounted GoPro on the hood of the car. We were just shooting B-roll, having a good time. After we covered Broadway, we crossed over to the other side of the Cumberland River. The plan, if you can call it that, was to find a spot along the shoreline and shoot downtown Nashville as the sun came up. Then reality hit. Construction changed our plan. Parking was a nightmare, and fencing restricted most of the area. When you're chasing light, every minute feels like an hour. We had to figure everything out in real time, moving through the dark, trying to find a clean line of sight to the skyline. We lost time. When golden hour arrived, we weren't fully set up. We captured what we could, and it was beautiful. But the magical time lapse I had planned, well, it just didn't happen. That felt like a loss for about 10 minutes, but then I caught myself. I realized the act of getting out and being there was more important than the files on my memory card. That is the joy of play. You never know what will happen, and often the experience is more important than the result itself. We didn't get exactly what we had expected. We got something better, knowledge. We got to scout the exact spots along the Cumberland where the angles work. We know that the parking will likely be a challenge each time due to the construction. And we know the challenges of safely flying the drone. The pedestrian bridge would be a perfect place to shoot next time. But it needs to be dedicated to a morning all in itself because of the parking situation and the construction in the area. The center of Broadway, the best spot for that was in the center of the street, which would be doable with two people. One could run out, snap a few shots before the light turns green. You have to time it perfectly to get the cobalt blue sky. Having that blue sky turns a good shot into a masterpiece. We did crash the drone. Luckily, Chuck was able to climb through the brush, and finding it up in a tree, somehow he was able to throw enough rocks to make it fall to the ground, and it was unscathed. That day, I filled my field journal with notes, shot angles, timestamps, and phone snapshots to refer to later. The truth is, playing isn't just messing around, it's research. Want some professional secrets? If you're ready to stop being perfect and start being better, here are some tips for capturing that early morning light. First, you have to show up before the sunrise and be ready. Chasing the perfect golden light happens in a very small window. It moves fast. If you're still assembling your tripod when the light hits, you've missed it. Set up at least 30 minutes before the sun peaks. The light will change continuously, and your settings need to dance along with it. Number 2, check the weather and light before you leave the house. I use a standard weather app, but I also use LightTrac. It maps the exact time and angle of sunlight based on your GPS location, or at least the address that you program into it. That app has saved me from showing up on the wrong side of a building more than once. You usually need some cloud cover to diffuse or scatter light. Clear skies can be beautiful, like they were on this particular morning, but they're also a little flatter. Season matters too, the time of year. The angle of the sun shifts throughout the year, and so does the color temperature and the direction of light across your scene. Another tip, run a gear checklist the night before, every single time. Charged batteries, extra cards, clean lenses. It sounds basic, but when you're standing in the dark at 4:30 a.m. and realizing that your battery is at 12%, you won't feel very creative. You'll just be frustrated. Another idea is to carry a field journal. I use mine to capture shot list ideas, location notes, and timing observations in the moment. A physical journal slows you down enough to actually think. I also use my phone to snap angles and compositions so I can reference them later without having to remember exactly where I was standing. Sometimes I get ideas. Here's the thing about play that you can't plan for. I noticed there were concrete pavers along the riverbank, the symmetry in them, the geometric shapes. I hadn't even thought about those as a compositional element. I just saw them because I was in discovery mode, not production mode. I noticed how the early sun rays were bouncing off the glass windows and creating unique shapes dancing along the other buildings. Those reflections were throwing unexpected light across the entire scene. None of that was on the shot list. All of it will show up in future work. When you're working for a client, you're focused on their vision. That's the job. But it also puts blinders on you. You're executing, not exploring. Play is how you take the binders off. Chuck's drone hitting a tree in a professional setting, that's a disaster. In play mode, it's a story. You take risks that you wouldn't normally take when you're on a client's budget or on their time frame. Things break, things go wrong, and that's exactly where the magic lives. That willingness to risk, to try a weird angle with no consequences, that's where your true signature style comes from. When art becomes only business, you stop feeling it. The work still gets done, but the soul starts to leak out. You start going through the motions. The burnout we feel as creators isn't usually from working too hard. It's from playing too little. Play is not a reward. It's maintenance. It's how you remember why you picked up your camera or your paintbrush in the first place. It reconnects you to that childlike version of yourself who saw everything as fun and experimental. You got excited about trying things without knowing if they would work. When you're in discovery mode, there are no rules. You're feeling. And when a composition makes you stop and say, yeah, that's it, you've just found the spark that will make your professional work stand out later on. That technique you wasted time on during a Saturday morning, that will become your signature look. So here is your homework. Schedule your own time to play. Put it on the calendar. Treat it like a high-paying client meeting because the client is you. We plan to go back downtown again. In fact, there'll probably be several trips because each will require a new morning dedicated to that particular place. We know where to park now. We know what to expect. We know the light. But mostly, we know that showing up is the only way to grow. Production mode is where you execute. Discovery mode is where you thrive. The best creative professionals I know live in both. Set your alarm, show up before the sun does, and go play.